Welcome to the Ask Coach Mac podcast, where coaches from around the world get their strength and conditioning questions answered.
What's up, guys? Welcome to episode number 53 of Ask Coach Mac, and I wanted to try something new for 2017 using Facebook Live as opposed to the typical podcast that I've done in the past for Ask Coach Mac. Last year, for those of you that listen to Ask Coach Mac and you're listening to this on iTunes, I would basically answer one question. People would submit it online and on my website, and then I would ask it. And honestly, the response was overwhelming. Got tons of questions. Felt like I didn't get to enough of the questions, and so I thought that there's a couple of reasons why this would be much better. One, I think I could get to more questions. Two, I think that I can make this more inclusive and just social and getting more people involved. And honestly, it's really just, it's easier for me. It's easier for me to just to throw this up. I think I'm going to be able to do it from some cool, unique sites and things like that, or with following me traveling. And I think it's just going to be a good way for me to try this for 2017. So I wanted to, get going on this. I think the best way to describe this in the future, or best way to get me questions, I think, you can go to the website, askcoachmac.com, and leave your question there. You can email me questions. Many of you do. I get, and I'm not saying this in a boastful way, but I probably get hundreds of emails every day with various questions, and I'm just going to start trying to answer them here, and just directing people here. Hopefully that will work out better for everyone. I can be a little bit more in depth than an email, just because unfortunately it's tough to stay up with them. And so, a couple of people have asked me, and go ahead and ask your questions below. I'll try to get to as many. I'm going to stay on for about 10 minutes. I'm going to try to aim for 10 minutes each and every week. I'm just going to jump on wherever I'm at in the world and answer as many questions as possible. But a lot of people have asked me the difference. There's lots of things going on in 2017. There's Ask Coach Mac. There's Pass the Mic. There's Iron Game Chalk Talk. And there's Beyond the Chalk. And, Ask Coach Mac is going to be basically an interview, or just going to be a Q&A where people ask questions to me, and specific to me, and I will answer those questions. And I try to keep the episode about 10 minutes each and every week. And we'll post it on iTunes. You'll be able to get to it like normal, but I'm going to do it here on Facebook as well. Pass the Mic is going to be on Fridays, is when it's going to go live on iTunes. And that's going to be me interviewing, or not interviewing, but having hosting a Q&A with a coach. So this Friday, on the 13th, 14th, I'm going to have on the 13th. I'm going to have Donnie Mae. I'm going to be down at the University of Texas, and I want you to submit some questions for Donnie, and we'll have those and make it so that it's available for anybody and everybody to ask questions to Donnie, who's a fantastic strength coach, fantastic person. So super excited about that. And then Iron Game Chalk Talk is going to be the typical Skype interview or live interview that I've done with coaches, where I go in depth and really try to dig into some topics. Beyond the Chalk. Beyond the Chalk is a monthly web show that I'll be doing, where I'll be going to different facilities around the world and just hanging out with coaches. And it's kind of a mix between a day in the life and MTV Cribs. We're going to tour the facilities, we're going to talk shop, we're going to get to know the person behind the coach, and really dig into that. So lots of different things. And again, with that, part of the reason why I wanted to go Facebook Live with this is so that it makes it a little bit easier for me to do it, and it makes it a little bit easier for me to be able to interact with you guys more. So I see Sherry's on, I see Shane's on. This is on my Facebook page. For those of you that are just tuning into this, I had to start a Facebook fan page. I've exceeded the number of people I can have on my profile, and so I hardly have anybody on this. And so hopefully part of this is getting more people on this page and moving everybody over. So if you have not liked the Facebook fan page for Ron McKeefery at R McKeefery, make sure to do so. You can see these in the future. If you're just tuning in, or if this is being shared, Sherry, Shane, please share. Anybody else that's tuning in, please share so that we can grow this page and make this a little bit where I'm going to be putting out a lot of information. So I got a question from Cage or Gabe, I can't remember exactly, from Missouri. And he asked a question about writing a book. He had heard me on Past the Mic with Brett Bartholomew. One of the comments that I mentioned was that I think every strength coach has a book in them. And so he had reached out and wants to write a book and asked a way to do that. And so this was the advice that I would have. I think the best way to do that now, this is not the way that I wrote my book. It is the way that I'm writing my second and third book that I'm working on for 2017. But it's basically taking some Post-it notes. So, Post-it notes like this. And if I was in my other office, I would show you the wall that I have going. But basically what I would do is come up with your topic. So let's say it's leadership, or one of the books that I'm writing is about motivation. And so I would think of stories about motivation, or subtopics about motivation, and I would write them on the Post-it notes, and I would just free flow as many different subtopics as I could, and so it might be accountability, it might be pure leadership, it might be extrinsic, it might be intrinsic, it might be the grind, and it might be in the flow. And I would write these all out on different Post-it notes, and I would put them up on a wall. And as I finished and exhausted what I could think of, I would bring somebody else in and have them contribute to it, think of different things. And then once that was done, I would take those Post-it notes and I would group Post-it notes together of topics into kind of basically chapters. And then the best way to go about it is to take essentially one of those Post-it notes each day and write as much as you possibly can about that subtopic, and create the kind of an outline, and plug that in. And as each day, as you get ideas, you can think about it all day long. You can come home at night and you can write about it. Or what's worked for me as well is taking that and then just speaking it into my phone, and then having somebody transcribe it. And you can find a transcriptionist on Elance or Fiverr or something along those lines, and basically have them transcribe your words into text. Because the reality is this, is when you write a book, the writing part is actually the easiest part. The editing part is the part that's actually very difficult. And so that's when the process really starts. So just getting everything out on paper, and then going back and grouping that up is the best way. So, Gabe, I would say that is the recommendation that I would have at this point. Once you have your edited version or your manuscript, you would put that off to an editor, have people contribute to it and read it, and go from there. And so I hope that answers your question. Another question I had was basically advice on furthering their career. A young coach had reached out and was taking an internship at a major school, and basically asked what they should be doing during their internship as a young strength coach. And so I think the first thing is essentially is really being all in on the internship, really making sure that you are the first one in, the last one out, that you're learning every single thing that you can possibly learn about that specific training phase. When you leave and go to a different program, one of those things that people are going to be excited about you coming to their program is that you're going to be able to contribute to a specific, basically a specific period of time in the program, and the more internships that you have, the more experience you have. That's why it's great to have a whole year of being an intern. doing like the 640-hour practicum with the CSECA, because you see multiple training phases, multiple different teams, and you're able to contribute where you go. And so really deep diving into that training period, understanding that completely, I think that's number one. Number two, I think that you need to pay attention to the details. You need to make sure, not just going and, learning whatever they give you, doing whatever assignments they give you. When I was with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I kept a journal, and I wrote down everything. If we got a piece of paper, that went into my journal. I had a big old 3-inch binder. I put everything in. If I saw something that went up, a schedule that went up for that day, or some sort of announcement or something like that, I would put it in the journal, because my understanding or my thought process was that at some point I would be doing those things. I'd be doing scheduling. I'd be doing announcements. I would be doing, what was going into the toolbox. And, and I would make sure that if I knew those things, or I had at least something that I could go off of early, then I would be able to bypass or save a little bit of time, because I knew that being a head strength coach is very demanding, very busy. And so, it would make the learning curve that much shorter. And so I think that's important. And then I think the last thing is to leverage that internship for opportunities to do site visits, find out where they have relationships, be able to go out and visit other coaches when you have downtime. If you get out early at 2:00 on a Friday or something, drive, the 60-mile radius, where you can get to in about an hour, and go and visit somebody that they know, and observe and watch and things along those lines. So I think that's, some things that you can be doing in this internship to really put yourself ahead, and to really enjoy it the most that you possibly can. I think Wyatt has a question here. He says, Coach, how do you retain everything you're learning? What's your strategy for not forgetting things? I think, Wyatt, good question, and I appreciate that. And honestly, the reality is that you're going to forget more than you know. It's always the case. And there's just so much, especially with the internet, there's so much coming in from time to time that honestly, I'll come across something that I haven't, an exercise or progression or something along those lines that I haven't used for many years. And I'll be like, damn, I should have been using that for quite some time. But I think, what I try to do, and this is one of the reasons why I speak as much as I do, is because when you teach, I think you learn and you ingrain it, and you use that information whenever you can use that information right away. So if you see a new exercise, throw it in your workout the next day. If you see a new drill, throw that in. If you see a new way of designing a program, then turn around and try to teach that to somebody else, an intern or a staff member or something along those lines. I think when you teach, you learn as much as you can. And so I appreciate that question, Wyatt. Guys, I'm going to jump off. That's about 4 questions. I think that's about what I will get to each and every week, about 10 minutes. But, just some quick announcements. January 13th, I'll be doing that Pass the Mic with Donnie Mae, but make sure to reach out for that. January 14th, I'm speaking at the University of Texas. And so if you're in the Austin area or within drivable distance, come to that clinic. It's the second time I've spoken at it. They do a great job. It is a fantastic clinic each and every year. Dave Hembrough is going to be the Iron Game Chalk Talk this week on Thursday, the 12th. That's going up. Dave is a strength coach over at Sheffield Hallam University in the UK. And I saw somebody come, Gary came on, and he was from the UK. And so, that's a great episode, a great strength coach, and very excited to share him with everybody. Just a really brilliant mind. Like I said, my Facebook page, this is going to be something that's going to take some time to grow. And so, like the Facebook page, share this video if you see it on the replay. I'm going to be sharing it on my other profile page, which should get significantly more views and things. But if you can help me out with that, like that, follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram. I share quite a few things there. Our sponsor for this episode, Sorinex. I got a chance to play with the meat hooks that they just released. They're $99. It's a handle that you can attach to your trap bar barbell to give you an extra 3 inches or 6 inches without having to buy an additional bar, which I think is genius. I mean, these guys, they are always on the cutting edge of developing equipment, mainly because they are lifters themselves. They are constant practitioners. They're constantly in the weight room, and they're just coming up with solutions to problems that they have. So rather than having to get out blocks or safety catches or whatever, they went to the welding shop and created a great piece of equipment. And beyond that, it's also easier to store than having all those extra bars and things. So, check those out, Sornex.com, and I think they're only $99. And if you're training basketball players or tall athletes, I believe it is a must for your weight room, and then variety for each and everybody else. So I always end these Ask Coach Mac episodes. If you've not watched these in the past or listened to them in the past, subscribe on iTunes. We will be moving everything over into the Iron Game Chalk Talk. So if you're not subscribed to Iron Game Chalk Talk, make sure to do that as well. But I always end these episodes with a quote, and I just got back from Nashville, so I thought it was only fitting that we do a Brad Paisley quote. And he says, "Tomorrow is the first blank page of a 365-page book. Write a good one." And so obviously tomorrow is the 10th, so it's the 9th blank page of a 365-page book. But go out tomorrow, write a great book, write a great page, and contribute to this world in a big, big way. So thanks, guys. Appreciate you guys joining in. Please share this video. Please like the Facebook page, and I'll keep jumping on here each and every week. Email me your questions. Leave your questions at Ask Coach Mac, and I'll make sure to get to them in the next episode. Thanks, guys. Have a great day. See ya.